Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
Is this thing on?
Is it...
Who knows? I can only see you. Oh, well, people are talking to us, so I guess so. We're back.
Yes. Yes. Always when we do these live events, we want to make sure that folks are seeing us okay. So that's why we mentioned the hello part to make sure we're doing okay and that we're coming up okay. So don't hesitate, because there's a little bit of a time delay for when we're talking and when it actually shows up on YouTube. So it's a small delay there. But we are going to have fun. We sure are. Right, Ann?
I don't know, Kevin. I'm deep in my feels. I need a nap.
All right. Well, we just got started, so we're not going to the fields yet. I don't want a 2-hour cry session. All right.
Oh, it's good to be back.
Oh, it sure is. Nothing like talking Earp, and nothing like talking Earp with Earpers.
I forgot how completely time-consuming and exhausting and what a full-body experience Earping could be.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I missed it. I loved it. And a week was not enough time to train for this, to like get back into fighting shape, fighting weight. Wasn't prepared.
I know the like 8-day notice that we got. There were so many of us that were just like running around with chickens with our head cut off. Like, oh, it's then. All right, what am I going to do? How do I do it? Can I finish my rewatch? Can I test how to live tweet? I haven't done it in forever.
Right. We had we known earlier, we all had cleared our schedules completely.
Yeah, that's okay. We're Earpers. We wing it. We go with it. We make it happen. However it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's great to see so many of you in the chat here, trying to keep up with all of your mentions. So that is greatly appreciated. Now, what we will do too is, for those who've been able to attend previous Hangouts, we do want to have some of you join us on video. So as we go on a little bit later, I'll post a link that you can use to do that here in the YouTube chat. I'll also put it on my Twitter account, so it'll be in a couple of spots if you're interested in jumping on for a couple of minutes. If tonight is like any of the other Hangout nights, sometimes we get a large rush of folks who want to come on, so it can be a little crazy trying to find things in the backstage area as we do it. So just be flexible with us, be patient, and we will figure out a way to do it. Good point, Kat. Very good point.
Yeah, we should have lifted weights or did thumb wars or something to prepare for what was happening. Yeah, RIP tweet deck. I mean, what would it even be called now? X deck? We don't even know.
Yeah, but Kat makes a good point that we used to have commercial breaks, so there was a time to take a breath or catch up on the tweets or even run to the bathroom. But with the streaming services now, it's all in from start to finish.
Yeah, it was a busy week, busy night, busy week. Do we need to do a disclaimer here? Like, if you have not seen the special,
yeah, we probably should. Yes,
Vengeance. We love you, but you need to go, because we're gonna ruin everything.
Yeah, anything and everything from Vengeance is going to be fair game for discussions. So yes, if by chance you've just popped in to want to chat with Earpers, just realize we may spoil all kinds of details in the film. No doubt about that.
Yeah. And everyone, did the best they could on Friday with no spoilers, considering some people didn't get to see it all at the same time, because like you had talked about with it being a streamer, different time for everybody. Some people could start watching it right away at midnight. So yeah, everyone did a really good job of trying to keep spoiler free until the live tweet started. So that was good. Mm-hmm. But I had to go completely dark because I was still fighting traffic. I had to turn everything off to get to my destination.
Yeah. So, and this was great. I know this time too, for those who are unfamiliar with Tubi, which is a great streaming service. I mean, I watch a ton of stuff on there myself. The nature of it being a free one is they will have ads, but it was great that, Audible, by sponsoring this one meant that we only had those at the beginning, and then we could get in at least so far and be able to watch with almost nothing as far as ads go. But that's not usually the case. But again, it was wonderful because the Audible stuff was promoting the upcoming audio content we're going to get too, which is another great surprise that came out.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge news.
Yeah.
Like that's, we've had Wynonna in comic form. We've had Wynonna in weekly television. Now we've had a special. This is a whole new way of Earping that we had not had before.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's been wonderful to see and experience. And again, figure it all going forward. I mean, I always want to step back and realize, just how blessed we are to have this show, this fandom, this cast, this crew. It's certainly been quite the journey the past 8+ years. I mean, for me, and I know many of you are new, and for many of you it was the first time getting to do a live tweet and having new content. And goodness, I remember how exciting that is. So I love that many of you finally got a chance to do it that way after only hearing about it for a while if you were newer to the fandom.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's special stuff.
It's definitely ebbed and flowed and grown and evolved and had taken so many different shapes, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All the different weights, all the different fights. It's really fun to see the whole evolution from where it started and where it is now.
Yep. And also, it's important because I get folks mentioning it doesn't matter when you found the show or the movie. Maybe you haven't seen any of the episodes yet. You're brand new and you only found the movie and you popped in here. That's wonderful too. The fact that you're here is what's important, not how long you've been here. So dive in like the rest of us have, all in, as we say, and have some fun here because this community is such a special place. So enjoy it. There's no other way to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, having fun trying to keep up with some of the comments here. And get some of them shared and get some of the discussions going. So I'm curious, Ann, when you finally got a chance to sit down to watch, what was it like? What were the initial impressions like?
Kevin, I've been so nervous. I've been so excited. And I don't know what it was about this time. When we got the back half of season 4, I gobbled everything up right away. Anytime there was a new photo that came out, anytime there was a new trailer that came out, I was like, I got to see it. And this time I didn't want anything. I just didn't want it to go away. I knew once I took it in, as silly as it sounds, then it was done. The build up, the hype was we're here, now what? Now, yeah, I can watch it again and again and again. But I've got 1 million bookmarks on my Twitter right now because I didn't read any of the interviews. I didn't watch any of the, other than the stuff that happened around San Diego Comic-Con time. I haven't watched any press or read any of the things because I want to savor it as long as I possibly can this time around. I feel like I was a greedy thing before and had been spoiled. Yeah, and I want to savor it.
Yeah.
So I was nervous.
Totally get it. Yep.
Yeah. How about you? I mean, we were are we ready to put we had a small group of Earpers. We all convened at Kat's house. Jackie flew in from Texas. And everyone was like, okay, do you have your drinks? Do you have your snacks? Are you ready? And I was like, I'm not ready. I don't feel ready. I was panicking. So yeah. What about you?
Yeah, it was, just based on the timing for those who've been following me on Twitter. I already had a commitment Friday night with my daughter. So I was disappointed I missed my very first missing a live tweet event. So, but I got up extra early by about 6 a.m. on Friday, was watching it before work since I couldn't take any time off there. So that was a little odd doing it that way, but there was just a real, it's going to sound wicked corny, but there was just a wicked feeling of peace and happiness. And I'm watching New Earp, which we haven't done for years. And it happened, because of how amazing the fandom has been and how hard a cast and Emily and everybody works to be able to get us something. So talk about just appreciating a moment. It was special stuff for me.
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of just been going with this whole mantra for the past, I don't know, year. And it's just like, I'm just happy to be here. And I think you especially have helped ingrain that in me. Because it's really easy to get wrapped up in it and not realize like what's happening. And it goes by so fast. And just trying to be in the moment. Again, like when I was at San Diego Comic-Con, I was just like, no, I want to take this in, soak up this moment. Just so happy to be here.
Yep,
and again, exactly. Like I feel weird too, because it's like Earpers get it, but like other people don't get it. So it's just like, I'm like, no, I have to go. I have to fight traffic. I have to get to this place. My show is on. Like, you don't understand, my show is on. But yeah, it's definitely a way of life. It's a way of life. But yeah, the people who bring this to us, just so grateful, and to be able to be with other people who like get it and think it's just so good. Yes, Suzanne, it's so good, right? Like unkillable. Let's hope it continues that way. Do I have to press play on my iPad? I might have to fire up keeps going. It goes right. If you're streaming it on Tubi, mine anyway, it goes right into Vengeance, and then it starts Calamity Jane or some Calamity Western, so they're getting a lot of views too, because if I don't catch that I'm streaming it goes right into Calamity.
Yeah, and again, for those who if you haven't seen some of the discussions going around on social media, one of the things that's going to be super important for any chance of us potentially getting more movies is going to be how well it does on Tubi viewership wise. So please, folks, be setting up to rewatch. Let your pets, your dogs, your cats watch it when you go off to work. Use your phone, your iPad, like Ann said, your TV, whatever you might have, your computer to run it some more, especially in the coming days. These numbers are critical from TV providers, streamers, and so forth. So just keep it up as much as you can. Tell your friends, your enemies, whatever it might be, family. Keep it up, because it's going in a couple spots in my house, and I had to actually throw it on mute to make sure I wasn't picking it up in the background doing the Hangout tonight. So that's part of it too, and doing as much as we can as Earpers. That's something, certainly back in the early days, we used to talk a lot about at the time when it was, traditionally on Sci-Fi, and how they looked at DVR numbers, and you'd be telling everybody to DVR it and then watch the DVR recordings and all that other stuff. So it's just now a streaming world. So, slight things change, but the same idea that doing anything we can to try to help support the show and potentially give us any shot at potentially having some more. But yeah, we should all have within the next few days several pets who are well familiar with the story as they're watching.
They won't be home alone.
No. It's exactly what we get to do. So I mean, that's the fun stuff. Part of what I'm not sure what to do, and this is my nature, certainly when we do the Hangouts, I have so many thoughts in so many directions. We don't like to just chronologically go through the movie. That's a little too, I don't know, not quite Earpy enough, I guess.
Right.
But maybe we share some thoughts on, if you will, I don't know what, initial impressions, initial thoughts, some things like just in the moment for you.
Well, okay, I have a lot of
and
thoughts,
others,
Kevin.
Other folks, feel free to share in the chat.
We didn't get a minute to breathe. Like, we came right out. Like, remember when it used to start slow and it was just like you had like a little bit of a slow, steady build up? No, we started right away. What, Mercedes died 5 minutes and 20 seconds in? Here's the thing. The trailer kind of made it seem like she was in danger. But I was in denial. I was like, no, she's a vampire. It's going to be fine. It wasn't fine. Let's not find out.
Good point here. There is no slow in Earp.
I was shocked.
Yeah, I again, once things started to roll, and once we started to get story bits happening, and things were going wrong, and things were, setting things up for where we're going, that's when it felt very Earpy to me. A little bit, like I said, there was a bit of that. Is this really happening? Okay, it is. And then there's a little bit of, like you said, slow build up, which in Earp world doesn't tend to be too slow. And then, R.I.P. Mercedes. So, and again, that's a great way to set the stakes. I mean, you can't move on in your show's universe without something happening in a dangerous world to the characters.
Yeah.
So, what can I say? It meant a lot to see that happen in terms of knowing that we've got some concerns. So it was a lot to kind of take in.
Yeah. And then, so, and Nedley's wounded as well right away. Mm-hmm. So we're down, turns out he pulls his own weight pretty well later, but all very concerning. But then again, true Wynonna fashion, we throw in the funny quips and like Wynonna's in trouble, but it's kind of funny trouble. And what has she been up to? And we get that glimpse into, what she and Doc have been up to this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Like it's interesting to say they've got a way of funding their plans for what they're going to be doing. And of course it involves, having some backward ideas to what they're going to try to pull off. I mean, that was fun stuff. It was interesting to see too, very much, as you said, settling into the Earp dialogue and the quips, and knowing that Emily wrote this, and hearing them, and knowing, just like we used to when we had episodes airing, that you're going to miss a good part of the good lines first time around. You got to rewatch a couple of times to catch all the great dialogue and the great things that are going around. I don't have like a poll to put up here, but I'll let you folks throw it in the chat here. How many baby girls do you think we got?
Ooh. I'm sure you counted. I didn't count, but I'm sure you did the math.
Well, you can bet on it, but I'm curious to see if others. So interesting. Throw a number there in the chat.
Come on, people.
As
what do we
keep
have?
Talking. I'll be glad to. I've got them noted with the timestamps and all. So trust me. Yes,
I
have.
My.
Because that certainly got me kind of emotionally right on the point to start with. And it was interesting too, because you talk about not wanting to go too deep on some of the articles and the prep stuff. A couple of the video snippets that we got, one of them included one of the baby girl mentions, which was just, so at least I was somewhat prepared. I got to say, it was good to see that in a little like 30-second clip, like days before, because then I could be like, take a breath, Kevin. Okay, there's going to be at least one in there. We have to wait and see.
Well, not too much of a spoiler, because you're going to get one. You're at least going to get one. And it's what, a 90-minute special. You're going to get more than one.
And that's another one of those fun things that you love about the show as things develop, I mean, it's there is some dialogue, and then the impact it has on the fandom, and then the fandom starts to talk about it, and the writers become even more aware of it. So it's a beautiful thing. I mean, that's part of us, that we just appreciate as there's more parts coming for the characters that we love. So, that was some pretty cool stuff.
We've got some guesses. Someone guessed 16. Would it be that many? 13, 5.
I see guesses from 5 to 16, 2 or 3, 13. And this is fun because I've only had like 3 watches at this point. So I think I've got 4 for sure documented, but I think there's at least another one in there. I have to do another rewatch focused solely on just the baby girls. But the first one was right around the 16-minute mark. When Wynonna showed up Wynonna showed up in the barn and was greeted by Waverly and Nicole. So that, that one is certainly one that sticks out for me quite a bit.
And then what did she also say? And baby girl's woman or something like that?
Well, we also
baby
got
girl.
Baby Brainy Girl and Wynonna on the phone initially with Waverly when she calls her, actually. So yeah, there's several. I love that I can sit down and go through it, turn on the captions, and just look for that.
Yeah. And that you talk about, the dialogue and all, the things you miss the first time around. We didn't watch with the subtitles the first time. So first of all, I missed a ton of stuff. Like as we were digesting it afterward, I was like, what? When did that happen? There must have been a time where I just disassociated for a while because I was just, and I wasn't tweeting, I wasn't doing anything else, but I was like, where did I go? Because I was like locked onto something else at that point, I guess, because I did not get that. But then watching through today with the subtitles, I was like, wow, okay, I missed that. I missed, just like when you watch normally, when you do the rewatches, you can be on your 10th rewatch and catch something you didn't catch before.
Yep. Nope. And as a lot of folks are saying in the chat too, we got a ton of F-bombs and other things, which again, being a streamer now instead of cable and so forth, get a lot more ability to pull that off. So that was pretty cool. I mean, the thing that hits me, keep it together, Kev, on the rewatches now especially, is just opening with the purgatory sign.
Yeah.
Talk about memories and rushing it back. It's just so perfect to me to do it that way. I mean, I just love that. And it's just kind of a take your breath away kind of moment for me right off the bat. And there were several of them in here. And not just emotional scenes, but, several times in the course of 90 minutes where, that I often call them in my shows the fist pump moments, when you're watching something and something happens, you just jump off the couch and just cheer for your heroes or whoever it might be. And there's several of that happens in this one. Cool stuff to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was neat too, because we had that different element where we had, like a different location, right? Like they're in Tombstone when we start out. And so we get that kind of like that cool scenic drive where we see Wynonna coming home, when we saw them before, they're heading out of town on the motorcycle. And so to see that long in the limo, the long drive she's doing, that was great, but also just so beautiful, so snowy with the purgatory sign. Yeah, I got chills, and you talk about the fist pump moments. I had a lot of just like frantic clapping moments. It just was like, that coin monkey you see on the commercials. I was just like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Oh yeah, and it was as some folks mentioned too, as far as the theme song. Again, being a movie more than a television episode with a set of credits that run, hearing it early on there was different, but kind of cool because it's got Wynonna strutting through the casino and it got, part of it playing there. So again, it's nice now to have new touch tone points for me, because usually when I start to hear the theme song, I visualize the credits with the different, name cards for the cast and all that are on there. And now this time it's a little different. So it's kind of cool, and it sets things differently in a great way, I think, because that's been interesting to see folks commenting on enjoying it and what caught their eye or threw them off even a little.
Right. I see some comments talking about the truck, and the trailers had, there had been rumors that the truck was possibly going to be back. I had a good feeling that it was going to be back, but then I was thrown off because the trailer showed this brown truck, and I was like, okay, well, I guess. And I had seen early on some stuff with the limo, so I'm like, okay, so I've seen these two vehicles. I guess not. I guess the truck's not back. But then the truck was back. And I was very happy about that.
Yeah, I was kind of cool when Wynonna pulled up at the homestead and saw the vehicles there, and saw the homestead itself. That was another one of those kind of emotional touchstones for me. Like, oh yeah, not only are we back, she's back.
Yeah.
And that really, set it up right there, to just mean a lot and have so much emotional push for me. That they're all rushing through my head now. Good question for folks who might not be aware. Production-wise, I don't think so. I think they would have set up a new truck, but I don't know. I haven't seen that talked about. Unless you did, Ann?
It was the truck. It was the truck.
Excellent. Okay.
It was the truck.
Fantastic. Even better.
Yeah. Which, like, also, how cool is that? Like, what other fandom is going to sell off all of their stuff and then have fans reach out and be like, it's fine. Like, I paid a whole bunch of money for this and I don't even live near you, but please, I insist, use the truck again. Like, that's so cool.
It really, it's a great way to do it. I mean, and I think that's what we're going to end up getting rewarded with on a lot of our rewatches, is as we're watching certain things and the fans are starting to notice some of it and talk about it, it's going to keep it fresh. We talk about how important it is for the rewatches for numbers, but as fans, and as several folks have mentioned in the chat, you're only going to get so much on a watch, and there's so much that comes back on the rewatches. That's what makes it even more fun. And it's very, just on brand for all of us.
Right. And again, like, this was a special for everyone, right? We're trying to appeal to a larger audience. Like Emily had said several times before, if you're new to Earp, you can hop in, catch this story. But stuff like the truck, that's totally for us. It could be any vehicle for brand new people and it wouldn't matter, but we know that truck, we know the truck's history. Some of us can probably say every single dent and scratch that truck has gotten and what episode it got it on. So that's pretty cool. That one's going to stick with me. That one's going to stick with me for a while. Oh yeah, Nicole's vehicle, that was a laugh out loud moment for sure.
Yeah, and talk about emotional touchstones for me. Certainly the fist pump, one of the fist pumps, was watching Wynonna put on the leather jacket in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Man, look at, I got the little hair standing up. Okay.
Yeah, just opens up that closet and there's,
That's the only thing missing was some special lighting that really
angel lights and
I know, that was music. So good. I know we've talked, Emily has certainly talked about it, I don't know, print interviews, podcasts, whatever it might be, about how when each season opener, you've got to write it and include enough dialogue knowing that new fans come into a show. So you have to kind of set up some characters, or for the longtime fans, have dialogue that appears to be repeating things we already know. But that's even more so important, like you said a few minutes ago, and here in the movie. Because the goal is, hopefully there's going to be a lot of folks who just discover this on Tubi having no idea that there's 4 seasons preceding it. So, yeah, there was a lot of great dialogue, dropping the whole idea of the remnants and Peacemaker and demons and who's who and everything else. So that's just a brilliant set of writing on Emily's part to make that all flow into what we get.
Yeah. Another thing that's different for me this time around, I have talked in the past a lot about how this show has changed the way I watch television. And it's definitely changed the way I watch this show. So for me, right away, in the opening scenes and the opening credits, I was paying attention this time. So when I saw Jan Arden's name, that was a woohoo moment for me for sure. So that was exciting because, I didn't know for sure if she would be popping in. We knew that Jeremy was going to be in, and it was neat to see some new faces too. It's a good point, Eva. So that was really exciting. And then also to see that Mel had associate producer credit as well, which was really neat too. But yeah, those are things that I wouldn't have noticed in the past.
Yep. That's, again, I just keep repeating myself in terms of the value of going back and rewatch and all. I mean, one of the things I really appreciated on the couple of rewatches that I was able to do today, you have a good show, that you enjoy. Oftentimes there's maybe one or two relationships that, really stick out to you or mean a lot to you. So you enjoy seeing those characters interact. We have so many great 2-character scenes in this special and in this series, that, getting a chance to see them all, spend some time and talk about important things, from the Earp sisters to Doc and Wynonna, to Wynonna and Nicole, to Waverly and Doc, to Nedley. And I mean, I go on and on and on. And it was just so meaningful, and in cases emotional for me, to be able to see several of those scenes where, the characters are being honest with each other. I mean, from a story point of view, we're years later than when we last left them at the end of season 4. People change, people grow, people have issues. I mean, there's going to be the natural ebb and flow of a relationship, whether romantic or otherwise. And I thought we got to see a lot of that.
Yeah, it was great seeing, of course, the Nedley and Nicole relationship, just as fatherly and daughterly as ever. And him kind of opening up to her, where usually he's like this big sense of support for her and kind of cheering her on. There he is just kind of saying how, he doesn't feel great about it. Younger version of him would have been faster. And she's like, you did what you could. I really liked when she said a younger version of you wouldn't have been friends with Mercedes, which again, like I was talking about how, I didn't like Nedley in the beginning. Like we weren't supposed to, we didn't like him. He was such an ass. And then just to see, the reasons he did things and what he was up against being a sheriff in a town like that when he was young, and now it's Nicole being that sheriff in a town that's, a little better. But yeah, for them to be able to have that, to have each other, to have those hard conversations about, he gets it because he went through it, and she gets it because, she went through it. And then now Wynonna's gonna go through it because she's a little rookie. How cute was she in that outfit? I mean, first of all, I missed some of it through the sheer curtain of sobbing tears I had. But when I watched it the second time, I could appreciate a little more how adorable Wynonna was in her little sheriff outfit. But yeah, it's just a really neat evolution, again, for all the characters. And you're right, we have all these different characters who have scenes together. Just all together makes such a neat experience.
It does, because we just move from those scenes naturally as the plot's playing out, and different folks need to do different things. It's not just, let's do these 2 characters here, and you feel like, where did this come from? It's just naturally as it moves, and you care so much about seeing where they're going. I think for me, it's always as a viewer, it's a tough balance for me when I have something I love, wanting it to still be what it used to be, as far as the emotion or the setting or what the characters are doing, but seeing characters grow and change, and sometimes have issues, and trying to work them out, and sometimes it's causing other issues, isn't as comfortable. But it's another example of why the show is so special, because it's so real,
Right.
And that's the way real life is of all relationships. So the balance for Emily and all trying to write that is got to be quite the challenge. But I think it was pulled off masterfully myself.
It was pulled off masterfully, and I don't know about you, but I feel like it went so fast. Like for me, it felt faster than a once a week episode, which is shorter. Like I swear I blinked and somebody was like, we're like, should we take a potty break? And we're like, there's only 30 minutes left. And I was like, what are you talking about? I panicked completely. And it was like, no, this can't be true. I need more time. This is not okay. Yeah. And yeah, about the 31-minute mark is when Anne just completely broke. Because too much was happening. I could see the writing on the wall, and I knew there wasn't going to be enough time to wrap this up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was.
So, what do you folks think as far as give us a talking point or two? What direction do you want us to go? Let us know in some comments here, because we can go in a lot of directions.
I did see some comments. It was good to see Chrissy back, which, when Nicole did that, stroll through town, like she was practically the mayor of the place. She reminded me of early Waverly with like the smile and wave. It's like she was the nicest person in purgatory as she strolled down the streets. But then she was all chatty with Chrissy. Chrissy had a baby. I want to know who the father of that child is. I'm very curious.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's not a father. I don't know how this child came about, but I'm very curious. There's another story I'd love to see. And I saw somewhere that's Chrissy's not Chrissy, but I don't remember her name in real life, her real child. So that was a fun cameo.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then just seeing Bunny pop up during that Jeep scene, which was also super cool because she was going to give her the ticket. She was kind of supposed to give her in the beginning. Remember, she was like supposed to write a ticket for her. Dana Christina is her name in real life. But so yeah, I could see like this blur in the background, and I was like, "Oh my God, here comes Bunny!" I lost it there because I was so excited. I'm like, that's Bunny's shadow in the background. Here she comes. But so yeah, I digress. Yeah, Bunny and Nedley are in karate class together. Do you think they're still seeing each other? Is that why she was like,
or is she stalking him?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of folks are mentioning how much they appreciated the Wynonna, the backstory, the whole premise for kind of what led into our villain for this particular one, and how good it was to learn a little more about her time, and several comments too about what a great job the actress playing younger Wynonna did, mannerisms and visually. Yeah, so that was some very interesting stuff.
Yeah, she was very believable, and I believe she plays in Heartland. I have only watched a little bit of that show, but she's from Heartland. So that was neat that they kind of had a tie-in there where Mel's worked with her before, and then here she is playing young Wynonna.
Yeah, no, that was great to see. Again, learning more, setting up this story, having it played so well. Was some interesting stuff that I really appreciated.
Yeah, it was really neat that the old backstories that we've seen before and the old flashbacks were the very same ones cut in. So that story, didn't change at all. So that was neat. And that we got, more of why Wynonna is the way she is. And then also hearing like Randy being there during that time too, because it's easy to forget that like he was there during those young years for him, because Greg plays such a young Nedley so well. Like he's like hasn't aged a bit, right? But yeah, and yeah, Emily's daughter was in those seance scenes in the barn and did a great job. Very believable. I wouldn't have guessed that was, I don't know, maybe one of her first acting gigs. I don't know. I'd love to see more. Yeah, that was neat too. I mean, Paulo, of course, just all the scenes were gorgeous.
Oh yeah, that's something, again, the cinematography, whether it's the setup of Calgary and Purgatory and all, or just the visuals of looking at the characters in the different settings. Great stuff to see there.
Even there, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ann.
Well, even there, just like here we've got these flashbacks in this like group home that she was raised in, but also like it's still funny because like these posters on the walls are absolutely horrible. They're not motivating at all. It's just like the book is like, maybe you're the problem or whatever. And like the posters are like, did you ever just try changing who you are? And just absolutely backwards and comical, but like not completely inaccurate depending on the kinds of places people are at. But yeah, just like the typical Wynonna humor of things was just beautiful to see.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, Eva. One was like, you suck, do better, basically.
There you go. There's your motivational speech.
Right. Just wouldn't it just feel so great if you woke up in the morning and your family was like, you suck, do better? Have you ever just looked in the mirror and thought maybe you're the problem?
I know.
It's right around the lines of like, you'd be prettier if you smiled more kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There we go.
Choose happy. It's that easy.
Well, if it could be, what can we say? I know another moment, again, I'm kind of going on my theme of, if you will, fist pump moments or other things that kind of bounce around is the first time we got all four of them sitting around the table at the homestead. Even talking about the reboot or what. I mean, just having fun with the concept of the fact that they're actually together again. Because the story naturally played out with seeing Wynonna and Doc and seeing Way Hot but then when we finally got to see them all sit around to talk, it just flooded back memories for me for some of the episodes when they had to talk about how to take on the problem of the villain of the week or anything that's going on there. Just again, another way to appreciate it and what it is. Again, I could go moment by moment, but that one, it was another one that really stuck with me.
Yeah, just seeing them all there and, a little time has passed. And then just Waverly saying, I've missed this. And it was just like, yeah, me too. Like, this is everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, and that's where we're really lucky, as most of you know, that not only does it mean so much to us, it means so much to them. They all appreciate this experience, as we've all learned. So, you're sure that they also, got a thrill out of knowing that was happening and reading it ahead of time in the script and actually getting to do it, day of kind of stuff. It's just stuff that we all really missed and was just wonderful to have again,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a different sister fire scene. Not lost on us that it was still a fire scene.
Yep. I know, and I can't find the comment here. It rolls back, but another big point was them, as they said, talking about the K word, kids. For Way Hot. I mean, I think we're maybe setting that up for hopefully the next movie for some other stuff to come in conversations or possibilities there. I guess we'll have to wait to see if that's the case.
Yeah.
But that was nice. I mean, again, that's the evolution of a relationship.
Well, and it was so sweet to see, Wynonna kind of like talking about actual problems with Doc, like instead of just glossing over it and being like, oh, whatever, you could see that she was kind of hurt by it and she was bringing it up with her sister, like things are great when we're doing this, but like if we actually, she's kind of just admitting that they have problems communicating.
Mm-hmm.
which is, not uncommon in many relationships. And for her to sit there and be vulnerable and do that was really interesting. It's like it showed like a more mature version of Wynonna.
Yeah, definitely did. And some of this comes out for me too on the rewatches, because it's the subtle bits of the characters talking about some of these things and then realizing a different perspective. Naturally, when you're looking at a scene, or at least I am, there's one person who's like trying to get a point across sometimes. And on a rewatch, you can kind of see it from the other person's perspective when it's well written like these are. And that's something that's just fun to watch as it grows. Big stuff. We have not talked about Doc. No. Although some folks naturally mentioned it. And there's several aspects to that besides just the ending, folks, as you all know. It was interesting to watch the dynamic with he and Wynonna. I thought it was very on track for their relationship early on, that while he wants to settle down, she's still Wynonna. And that whole idea of him being worried about her getting bored with him, very true to their relationship, which makes it even harder watching what happen. But, again, got to have a hero moment when he takes on all a black badge, or whatever you want to call them, whatever they were, the rogue outfit. And knew it couldn't be without consequences. Thoughts, Anne?
Well, I didn't see it coming. I thought we were in the clear because somebody already died. Silly me. And I certainly didn't think it was going to be Doc. Like, I know he can. And listen, I know we need the drama. It's good television. But again, I was already going into a deep place at 30-minute left mark, because I knew I could sense that Waverly was going to leave, and I was not in theory. I love that for Waverly. On screen, I hate that for Waverly and Nicole. So I was already messed up from that. And then when he's staggering up the snow, I just thought he was trudging through some deep snow and he was having trouble that way. I didn't realize he was wounded. And then the blood, and this was me for the last 30 minutes. I probably lost some hair. I literally, for the last 30 minutes, I just cried and pulled my hair and was shocked. There was some gin involved, which didn't help. But yeah, it was a mess.
Yeah. It was well done. It was emotional. It was impactful. There was definitely I don't believe this part of it for a while.
Is this being recorded?
Yes.
Okay.
Dare I ask why you ask?
And because there's, I think there's someone coming into the waiting room.
Okay. Okay. We will roll. We will roll appropriately.
Sorry, to break up your
flow. So yeah, it was quite something to see happen, and not expecting. That's part of what makes it even more impactful, is when you don't expect it. But you get to see how well it's done and what it might mean, and know that we still have lots of possibilities in this universe, folks. Lots and lots.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got someone doing something like that for those kind of reasons, there's a great deal of respect going on there of whatever it does to me. Not always being more important than what it does to the characters in the story.
Right. And I'm sure it's going to be fine. Maybe. I mean, like, it's good that we were upset. And I'm not upset because I think it's bad television at all. It's good because if I weren't upset, that would mean it's not good television, right? This is me trying to emotionally talk my way through this situation. But I cried more, I think, in this one than I did in 412. Well, maybe not. It was kind of like a different cry. Like, I think 412 was it was a happy cry. This one I was like really devastated. Like, Doc was sad, but like not as sad as this. Because then I also thought of Tim. I was like, you not only killed Doc Holliday, but like you killed Tim Rozon. Like, now he's the Earpiest Earp of them all, and now his guy is dead. But I know he wanted to die a hero also, but still, I have a lot of feelings on this. A lot of feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Michelle's got it recapped pretty good though here. You know, I mean, this is all part of the journey of the show and the characters. So, you know, we have to keep that in mind as we look forward to future Earp, you know. But yeah, that was really something watching all of that. His chance to be the hero and what it cost him, but what he did it for and what it's going to mean to the other characters too. Because yeah, the thought of Wynonna staying back in purgatory now and actually being, you know, deputized. I mean, who saw that coming? All right. I mean, that's what's amazing with our show, right? We had the curse end at one point, which like that's the whole premise of the show. We had her lose Peacemaker, get it back, and now again has given up Peacemaker for the sake of everybody, and that all just showing us how it's the premise. Sometimes the premise of the story is what we might attach to or understand, but really it comes down to watching what our characters go through, you know, whatever the circumstance of what they're doing.
And there's part of me that wishes I could watch it through the lens of somebody who's never watched before, just to like see if it would hit differently. Because like we have so many questions, right? Like we have questions about Peacemaker, like Peacemaker glowed blue. What is going on? You know, what else can Peacemaker do? Like, is this like, I'm not even making sense anymore because I just have so many questions. But like, if I could come back in a version of myself that had never seen any of it, like, would I still question as much? You know what I mean? And not that I'm questioning it in a bad way. It's just like, it hurts my brain a little bit sometimes because it's like, you know too much, but then you realize you don't know anything at all.
That's part of it. And we also got some questions we're going to wonder a little bit about. That's part of the fun, is looking at the different things as we learn more about the details as we go forward on it. Sometimes we get a little more and sometimes we get answers and sometimes we get more questions. I mean, that's part of the fun, is seeing what it's going to do and what it's going to be for us. I mean, aside, for this time being, I kind of want to put aside the situation with Doc and say, besides that, what might you pick as the most emotional point for you? Yeah.
I really got torn up about Wayha having this long separation. I mean, she was in the garden for so long. So it's like, yeah, we know Nicole can do long distance because long distance is better than knowing if they're even dead or alive. And I get it. Like, if you love someone, set them free. Like, you can't hold someone back. Like, what if Waverly just wanted to go be on Survivor for a while? You would say, yeah, go do the Amazing Race, go do Survivor. And this is like, yeah, we have the added element of it's gonna hopefully help bring Doc back. Which, like, what would that even look like? But also it just hurts my heart so much. Just thinking about like the loneliness, the sadness, like Nicole's puppy dog face when she said the K word, and you could see that Nicole was kind of thinking kid, and clearly Waverly was thinking kite sailing or whatever. So it's like, okay, like, I believe in Way Hot, like they're gonna be fine, but like that's gonna hurt. So, like I said, that already, I saw that coming, and that ruined me. So, but I don't know. It's not worse than Doc, obviously, but together, that was a 1-2 blow I did not need in my life. And here's the thing. She was like, you're going to want more Earp. Well, of course, we're always going to want more Earp. It is not a want, Emily. It is now a need. This is not a matter of like, it'd be great if we could have our characters back. This is like a matter of health and sanity for all of us.
Can't argue with that. Nope, can't argue there at all. I know for me, one of the most impactful scenes, certainly emotionally, was when Wynonna went to hell and was trying to talk it through with Mina. And she's talking about how Peacemaker was the only thing that ever made her anything. And, you know, her talking about how that was before. And then my people showed up. And that's what made me everything. Can't watch that one without crying.
No. But also the ease in which she says it now, because she didn't always believe that before, and she didn't always feel that before. But, you know, older, wiser Wynonna is like, no, you know I have these people supporting me. And she's had a lot of growth. That not only does she know it now, but, you know, she believes it, and she actually feels it with her whole heart. Oh, you.
Hello, stranger.
Hi. I'm just here for any feelings. I don't know if there are any. So, you know,
it was real uplifting. How are you?
We got a few.
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. I'm good. Today and yesterday felt crazy. A lot of stuff happened. But yeah, satisfyingly exhausted. How about that? How are you guys?
You had a busy week.
When I showed up, it was glum.
I wouldn't say glum. It's appreciating the emotional journey.
Oh, Kevin, you always know what to say instead of, you know, holding a machete. Yeah. Is there a chat here? Can I see the chat? I want to see who's yelling at me.
Yes.
Nobody.
No, there are lots of folks talking at it. Yes.
That's okay. That's okay. I'll be your villain. I'll be your Mina. I'll take it off. Come on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How do you feel now? Like you had a busy week. How do you feel? Are you like, oh,
how dare you? Cat Zim. Straight for the jugular. Cat Zim. What's that? How dare you? Yep. I feel a lot. I feel it was crazy. Like, it was kind of is this being recorded? Yes. So I have to be slightly careful, right? It was amazing to be able to give you guys more Earp, but the truth is it was a tiny bit of a deal with the devil, right? You're like, okay, well, what is this going to be? Do you know what I mean? I don't mean that badly. I just mean like the whole way we pitched this and got this with Tubi was kind of shaking up the world. But in order to do that, you have to shake up the world. So that was crazy. I feel like everything I've seen online is kind of fair. It's like people are all over the map, but nobody is bored. So that's good.
No.
And, once again, everyone is appreciating how magical this cast is, which is the most important thing. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Has the reaction been what you expected? Any comments from Tubi yet? I mean, Tubi wanted this. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the whole thing, I don't know how many of you have read any articles about it, and that's fine. It's all been a whirlwind, but really it was Tim who kind of pitched this to Tubi, and Tubi said, well, why would we do this? Like, what story is there left to tell? And Tim sort of said, well, what if we sort of talked about the end of Doc Holliday? What if we started with that and see where it goes? So Tubi just wants more. They don't care if you're yelling. They just want engagement, right? So I think they're very excited. Like, yeah, I mean, have you met you guys? It's been incredible. Like, just being online last night too with all the emotions was amazing, right? Just seeing everyone live tweet and make jokes and scream at us was like old times, right? Like, Kevin, you've been here since the beginning. Are you just like, please let me lay down? Stop making Earp. Please, I'm begging you.
Goodness, no, it brings back so many. We talked about that very, very early on. It's just like seeing all of the newer Earpers finally get to do a new content release, a live tweet, be totally shocked by what happens. It is glorious. It is like fuel for the tired soul on those days.
That's so good of you to say specifically. That was sort of a gift, is seeing people who had maybe come on during the pandemic or who hadn't been there since the beginning. There were so many Earpers online who were so cute, who were like, I've never done this before. I've never been here for new Earp content and for a live tweet. And I know Casey was there, and it was like, how do I even do this? And I was like, you just
good luck.
There's no like going through it, just like, but I got like, we have a group chat with all the cast, and I got like the nicest text from Kat, honestly, like half an hour ago, where she was like, I'm still buzzing from last night, and just seeing all the talent on screen and the fact that we were all able to do this again together. Young Penny. I know. I asked her if she wanted to come on, but she was like, no. Anyway, no, I think we are very grateful, but everybody knows it's a bit of a shake up, but that's okay. That was kind of like, that's what we had to do, right? So now,
I was fine.
Oh yeah, you were totally fine, Anne. You were 100% so fine. I definitely didn't get any. No, I'm not even going to. Listen, and I'm not saying I got a voicemail from Anne.
No, I didn't.
In the middle of the night.
She wouldn't have tried to delete it and find out she couldn't.
That was like,
fine.
Here's a satellite photo of your house. I'm on my way with a flamethrower. Listen, I like my fans passionate. No, I'm teasing you. It was all good.
It hurt in the best way.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the response? So I'd be very curious what you guys think, because sometimes I wonder if I'm in my bubble.
I do have to say, like, I wasn't around for a lot of the early days, but I was around enough for season 4. But to see the way that Tubi has participated,
weren't they amazing?
It was phenomenal.
It was the socials on Tubi. Don't you feel like they just got us, guys? Like the tone and the jokes and the amount of behind the scenes content they have was incredible. Yeah.
And that really added to it. Like, it was, they were in on the joke, right? Like they were in on it.
Thanks, Ashley B. Does everyone have, while we're on this phone call, does everyone have their device just playing Vengeance in the background like me? Just casually on a VPN from Connecticut? I definitely am. No, just a little tip.
Yeah.
No, like Tubi, like, it's funny. Like, I will say this, like, all jokes aside, Tubi is so rooting for us. Does that make sense? Like, all the PR people, all the socials, they met the cast, they fell in love with everyone. They saw you guys at San Diego Comic-Con. They get it. All they want is to be able to do more, right? I think they are really like, it fits their brand a little bit that they kind of think of themselves as a bit of an underdog, and we are underdogs too, right? We're kind of the little show that could, despite everything. So I just don't have, it's always numbers, right? I'm just like, I slightly feel like we bamboozled everybody in that, like, I'm like, oh yeah, we have a Marvel audience. It's like easily 30 million people. Don't worry about it. It's definitely not like 100 fans. I all know their names. Don't sweat it. So that's going to be the game. I think it's just keeping it up this week, if I'm being honest. And I know, like, look, if you hated it and you don't want to see it again, that's your prerogative. But if you want more of the story and us to kind of continue it and make some different choices or continue it, yeah, it's going to be just like numbers. I think just volume.
What about, along with you know, doing the rewatches on all the devices you can, folks, what about the social side, Emily? Is it important to be tweeting and blue sky?
Yeah, and that's the stuff we can control, right, Kevin? Like all the press, all the socials, all the hashtag, like I sort of feel like we have that covered, to be completely honest. Like they were blown away, right? I think we trended last night. If anyone knows, let me know. I was so like in it, but I think we did. Ooh, someone's playing Dungeons.
No, I had to restart it.
Yeah. And like, I'm over it. I'm watching something else. That's fine. No, honestly, the socials do help, but we've always had that, right? Like, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but even back in our sci-fi days, our social media numbers were millions. And I don't think another show has ever come close for sci-fi and NBC. Like we always had that in spades, the passion and the loudness and the engagement. Oh, we were up to number 6. Okay. That's pretty good. So, no, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. We'll see. I'm just so cautious. I'm so terrified. I'm so in it. We'll see.
It was interesting. I couldn't help but think too, a little bit, Emily, too, at one point in one of the behind the scenes or something, you talked about how early on, you know, you could, the next day you could go through the hashtag and literally catch up on every tweet.
Yeah. Oh, I remember, I've talked about this, Kevin, like the first, after the premiere, it was Dom and Mel were at my house in our pajamas and we were all tweeting. And I remember we did sit and go back through the Wynonna Earp hashtag, and we saw all the tweets. We were like, oh, this is great. And by the end, even of season 1, the finale, we like couldn't keep up and everybody kind of went quiet. Like it was sort of overwhelming. Yeah. But it definitely felt insane last night. Like it felt a lot. It felt like a lot, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
yeah, I was up
in the best way possible
until 2 a.m. trying to, I didn't live tweet. I
know Kevin was at a concert because he's such a good dad. You guys were good. You had other obligations. That's okay.
I don't know how people did it. Like there was a moment where I was basically paralyzed, and that was my last half hour. I don't know how you could have how are people not?
No. Well, I also think it's kind of unfair, to be honest. I think the trick about live tweeting we never talk about is if you've never actually seen it before, if we do it right, like you should be engrossed within the story and forget about tweeting, right? So even for me, who's seen it maybe 100 times, once that porch scene happens, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so in it. I just forget that I'm supposed to tweet. So yeah, that's okay. But it was really fun. No, I feel good. I feel like I kind of knew what I was in for, famous last words, but like we all kind of knew, and like someone has to be bold and someone has to be brave. That was always going to be the deal with Earp if we did more, right? Because there was, we had an ending and now we had to undo it a tiny bit. But I hope people understand, like, it's still about the love all these characters have for one another, and like Way Hot will be fine, and Wynonna and Nicole will support each other, and like Jeremy isn't one to make a casual promise. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
What was the part you were most nervous about us seeing?
Probably Mel in that dress, because she's so hideous. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. I was like, Way Hot sexy, and I was like, let's try it. Let's see. No, I mean, there were 2 RIPs that were a pretty big deal. So I was like, yeah. Oh, look at Anne. Anne's actually physically mad at me.
Look at that face. Look at that face.
I'm so mad at you.
I kind of like it. It's like a turn on. I'm like, oh, I can win her back. I can win her back. I like someone rough. I can get you back on board. No, I would say the two big goodbyes were the thing I was most nervous about for sure. And just like the evolution of the couples, I think I think Waverly made a really interesting choice too. I think Waverly being so happy in her marriage, but kind of so secure in her marriage, in fact, that she finally has kind of been like, oh my God, I'm daring to ask for something I would never even have thought to wish for, which is like a chance to travel and whatnot. One thing I will talk about though, because I haven't seen it much online and I can just say this to you guys, is one thing that was a bit tricky for us was, look, everyone on this call is a hardcore Earper. And they would have come to the show being like, well, Mercedes is a vampire and Nicole is the angel's shield and Waverly is an angel. Where is Rachel? Sort of storylines like that. But the deal with Tubi very early on was that they didn't want it to be so knee deep in mythology that we could never get a new fan. Do you know what I mean? So that's the stuff that was in the script that I think got stripped out a tiny bit. That I've seen some people being like, well, wait, like, how does this work? Where's Rachel? Blah, 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 blah. But we only had 90 minutes. We didn't have 12 hours like we did before, right, in a season. So that I was a little nervous about. But we do have these Audible episodes coming up, which are
can you tell us anything more about that?
I mean, I would say they're really fun. I would say I've seen so much like speculation about characters who maybe we didn't have a chance to kind of dig down on. So they are definitely like front and center in the Audible stories. And like, I should probably wait to announce this, but I'll tell you guys, which is like, they really are stories that happen between season 4 and Vengeance. Does that make sense? So kind of filling in the gap of like what happened right when Wynonna and Doc left town. How did Nicole kind of come to be sheriff? There's really good Nedley backstory in there. Rachel has a great story. Mercedes has a hilarious story. Like there's just kind of that stuff that almost feels like you would leave to fan fiction, but then we had the benefit of doing. And the other thing about the Audible stories that is so delightful is because they are purely, auditory, we really can put the characters in situations that you could never do on the show. Do you know what I mean? Like really big situations and big locations and flashbacks and what have you, because we don't actually need to visually see them or find those locations or what have you. So I hope you like them. They're really fun. Tim wrote one that's like hilarious. Shelly did a bunch. Shelly Sparrow, like bunch of our original writers, and then some new writers did one. Kristen wrote one that's like a total tearjerker. They're fun, I think. And Audible's really excited. Audible's all over you guys. They're like, look at this. Yeah.
Awesome. Is it, did you say 6?
Yeah, it's 6 half hours. So
okay.
3 hours of content.
And is it a continuation or each half hour is a different?
No, so they really are like, honestly, at first Audible was like, we would love a season 5, but I knew what was happening with Tubi. And I was like, I don't want to commit to a season 5 just as an oral history. Like I feel like I would always like to protect the opportunity for a season 5 with everyone's face, it sounds crazy. So it was over a year of planning it and kind of pitching back and forth. And then Shelly and I came up with this idea that was just like literal tales from purgatory. So they're not like linked at all. There's a couple of characters who like are in several stories and whatnot have you, but they're really like their own delightful kind of fable. Each one is kind of its own kind of journey, which is great. Yeah.
That's so cool to bring, like, we were talking earlier about how, we've had Wynonna in print form with the original comics. And then obviously we've had the 4 seasons and then now a special. And then to have this, a completely different medium, but with the original cast voices, that's really cool.
Yeah, and like I would say they're still canon of like what happened before Vengeance, kind of in the 18 months. So they're really fun. Yeah, they're really good. The cast is amazing. Cool. They're so funny. Yeah.
We know.
I know. So Anne, are you ever going to forgive me? What was the thing you were maddest about? What was the thing you were maddest about?
I knew it was coming. You set it all up with all the things where it's like Waverly's going to leave. She's totally going to go. And I get it. She's got to go. And she'll be back. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I totally trust the process. but it didn't.
Think about how sexy their reunion's going to be.
That's a good point, but it really
they do reunions really well, like really extra. Like,
and then it was like we were running out of time.
Yeah, come on.
We were running out of time, and I was like, "No, this is not going to wrap up."
Yep.
And then so I was already wounded, and then you threw the doc thing in there, and I was like, I thought we were safe because you already killed someone.
Speaking of wounded, I know. Sorry, too soon forever, everybody. Yeah.
Too much.
What a beautiful scene. What a beautiful scene.
It was.
Yeah.
It was well done.
I know.
That's
grabs me like that.
Yeah. Well, listen, hopefully we'll have the chance to do more and maybe different things can happen. We'll see. But yeah, thanks for watching.
Tell us what we need to do and we'll do it.
I mean, you're kind of doing it. Like, I feel like we put so much on you guys, to be honest. So I kind of feel guilty about yelling it. But again, it's just like, turn it on your iPad and leave the room. Like, honestly, even if you can't watch it again because you're so mad at me, put a piece of paper over it. But like, just play it over and over and over and over again. Because again, this is being recorded, so I have to be careful, but it's a little bit different than when we were on network. Like, literally number of views count, even if that is Kevin watching it 2,000 times. That's 2,000 views. Does that make sense? So like, truly, if you have it on 100 times this week, that counts. So, I just got to a really sexy scene. Look, these two are making out.
Nice.
It faded out. Sorry, we missed it. But that's the truth. Sure. I think just like volume is good. I would also say, if I'm being totally honest, like last night was big and Tubi was really happy, but they want to see that it maybe doesn't fall right off a cliff. Does that make sense? Which is hard for us because it's a one-off, right? It's not 12 episodes. But if we could just like have a week of it still, people still watching it, would be great. If you can bribe or blackmail anyone you know into turning it on, that would be amazing. But we'll see. Yeah.
We'll do it. It's really not a hard ask. Like,
I know, I hope so. Well, like I said, even if it makes you mad, even if you want to do it to spite me so I have to fix it, that's fine. Leave the room, but put it on. Do it for everyone else. Do it for Mel. Do it for Mel. Yeah. Yeah. All good.
It was the best kind of hurt. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, thanks for having me, and thanks for doing this still after all these years. Sorry, we just can't kill it with fire. We just keep burping.
That's what we do. It's what we do. And we can't thank you enough for everything you do to make us want to do this too.
Oh, thanks. Well, I hope if nothing else, I hope there were moments in it that it felt like Earp. I hope it felt the jokes felt like Earp, but I hope that incredible talented cast just slipping back into their characters, even as they've evolved. I hope it felt a little bit like being with family and going home. Because that's what
it absolutely did.
Absolutely did.
Because sometimes I cry when I'm with my family too. So
sometimes
and drink extra gin. Well, you have a big mess to write your way out of.
I do, and I relish the challenge.
Yep.
But listen, I'm queen of the cliffhanger. So maybe it was time for me to put myself in that situation. Like maybe it's my turn to be like, you got to fix this, Andrea. So I'm ready. I have a lot of ideas.
No, I love when you talk about the story elements, and you often will say that's future Emily's problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will tell you as a kind of passing note, and again, I don't want to promise anything because it's a business. I don't know what's going to happen. But I did go out with the president of Tubi, whose name is Adam, and he's a lovely guy. He was in Toronto, so I went out for breakfast with him the day of the premiere. So yesterday, I guess. I feel like it's been like a year.
A week ago.
But he even, I feel like, has gotten the spark of Earp because of you guys. So he was pitching stuff we could do next. And I was like, yeah, we could do that. We could do this. We could do that. So I'm just going to keep trying to get my claws in everyone until they just can't say no to us. We're just undeniable. That's what we got.
Yeah.
Unkillable. That's right.
Unkillable. Unkillable gay squad.
We love it.
Yeah.
We love it. Well, take the week off. Give yourself
I gotta wake up at 3 a.m. and set all my devices and press replay. Please, I'm in it. So
that's right. That's what we're all doing.
What are you talking about? I can't take the week off. No.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
I love you guys, and we're gonna be
Thank
fine.
you.
This is just a sexy blip between you and me.
I'm not breaking up with you.
But I
It's
said
fine.
sexy. It's great. It's tension.
That's right.
It's gonna be fine.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
So
Always do.
I believe in us.
okay. Thanks
Yep.
for having me, you
Bye.
guys.
Thank you.
Everybody
Thank
on
you.
this feed. Honestly, thank you so much for sticking with us and watching. I love you guys. I will never, ever, ever stop loving you. Thank you. Thanks for
Love you
showing
too.
up.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
Bye.
See
All right,
ya.
bye-bye.
What a good sport.
How lucky are we? Again, how lucky are we? It's amazing.
Gosh, in the corner of my eye, I'm seeing Danny getting choked to death right now. It's traumatizing. It's
Well,
gonna
I'm
be
glad you got a
fine.
little therapy there, and I'm glad.
Yeah,
you know.
she talks me down from the treehouse. It's fine. It'll be
Yep.
fine.
Be
I
fine.
believe.
So I
You know,
hope you
you
folks
can't appreciate.
Yep,
You know, without a little pain, you can't appreciate the good times, right?
that's right. That's right. And I hope you folks watching appreciate the fact the reason we didn't have some of you on a little earlier is, through her kindness,
Yeah.
Emily mentioned she might be able to pop on. So we wanted to make sure.
We were stretching it to get
to give her a
until
chance to
Emily
get
was
on, knowing
available.
how these things kind of work. So I'm going to put in the chat, and then I'll also put it on Twitter. So pardon me if I look distracted. Anne can vamp on. The link, if you want to pop on video for a couple of minutes, thought to share, question to bring up, anything you want to do. That's what makes these Hangouts so much fun. Is it's more than just us as the host here. So
and no pressure, but you'll be on screen when we pull you up. It works best if you have earphones. Otherwise, sometimes we get an echo. And I think when you come in, if you close out if you're watching on YouTube, close out your YouTube, because if you have both going, there's sometimes an echo too. You're here for Anne Emily storyline drama. There was a lot of gin involved, and I guess my friends just didn't think to take my phone away. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Fine.
It's
What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
Nothing could go wrong.
No, nothing.
No.
Let me put this on Twitter
God, I
as
love
well.
this show.
See?
But yeah, come on board. Tell us if you cried. That's always my favorite part, is to see who cried. And you know what was your favorite part? What are you still reeling over today? All those good things.
Yep.
Yeah, we Emily is such a good sport. I mean, obviously they've all been very busy with press, and they're busy with other things. I think Mel and Tim are in production for something else right now. But yeah, we share and say, hey, if you can come on, great. If you can't, we understand that too. But it's always so great when any of them participate.
Yep. Gonna bring a few folks on.
Hey, Kat.
Hello. How are you?
How are
We're
you?
doing better now.
Good. Yeah, we're in mourning in this house. Danny Cutout has a mourning veil on for multiple reasons. But
R.I.P. Danny. Pour one out for Danny.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Well, I definitely want to talk about Randy Nedley.
Okay.
Shocking.
So I have notes.
I too am part of the Randy Nedley fan club.
Of course.
Yeah.
We owe it all to our progenitor, Katie Andrus. I don't know if that's the right word. I'm not smart enough to remember if that's the right word. But anyways, creator, Katie Andrus fan club, number one Nedley fan. But one of my favorite jokes is that I would love to ask Emily this or anybody. It's like, is Randy Nedley like number one 90s music fan? Because he talked about Mambo number 5. So Lou Bega fan for sure. Mm-hmm. And now we've got the Baja Men with Who Let the Dogs Out. So, he's a man
he talks about Spice Girls.
That's true. The Spice Girls as well.
Britney Spears. Yeah, it would have been interesting while he was in his brown pickup truck if the radio had been playing and we got like, I mean, we don't probably have Britney Spears money, but like if one of those songs would have been, that would have been pretty funny.
That would have been so funny.
It's like this fight scene montage, and it's just like his crazy 90s mixtape playing.
Yeah. And it's like a mixtape. Like he does not.
Oh, for sure.
It's not. He doesn't do Spotify.
No.
Yeah. What else? On the Nedley front, I would say, why are we injuring Nedley so much? Like, I mean, I was very upset, obviously, with Mercedes in the beginning, and then how hard Nedley took it. I think it's also such a, like, I said this on Twitter, but like such a beautiful moment of character growth, and so like divinely written and divinely acted by Greg, of a guy who's like of the age of like bearing your feelings, and especially like where we started with him, where he was kind of a jerk in the beginning of the show, to where he's like openly talking about how he doesn't feel like he's enough and he doesn't feel good, and the way he did things was because he was scared. I think that's so meaningful. So yeah, that was probably one of my most beautiful scenes of like him actually like saying it out loud. I'm upset with Nicole because she didn't give him a hug. That's my main thing. But yeah, and then also the other side of Nedley with the tough love in the cemetery with Wynonna, of like, I'm always like, yeah, Ward is Wynonna's daddy and always will be, but like Nedley, where he is now, not saying he was the best in that interim period, but where he is now, like that's her father in purgatory where she's at. So yeah, those were my like emotional Nedley highlights. Also, he has a grandkid that's so cute. But overall, it just felt really good to be Earping again. Like I got a little bit of a warm up in San Diego, and it was like so overwhelming. And to be back and like where I'm at now and like where I started of like, you know, meeting Kevin in 2016 and all that stuff, like, you know, I've completely changed the way of my life. Like I work in the film and entertainment industry now, and I didn't at the time. I was still, you know, finishing school and wasn't even in that field at all. And it's fully because of the show. Like the job I have now is fully because of people I met through this show. So always going to be meaningful for me, and I know how much work and love went into making this, so I am forever appreciative. And you know, I don't want to get too sappy because I'll start crying. But like I'm so lucky, like
for it.
That's okay, Kat, come on now. How many
I know, but
times
it's so
have we
lucky,
talked
like,
about that? Yep.
to be able to still do this, and like, you know, I missed you last night, Kevin, and you know, but still like getting updates about Anne and your well-being last night, and checking in with DocStash, making sure DocStash was okay. She is, for anyone wondering, DocStash is okay. I have spoken with her.
Yes. Yep.
But how fun is that? That's like this is totally different element of like the show and the fandom too, right? Like I don't really know DocStash. I know of and who DocStash definitely is, right? Because through, you know, Twitter we know, and you know, we've said hi to each other at conventions and stuff before. But like when your mind immediately goes to someone who you're, you know, not even necessarily on a close relationship basis with, but you're like, ooh, that's gonna sting for so and so. Or, you know, you see a baby girl and you're like, ooh, Kevin's probably not okay. You know, fireplace. It's just that adds that extra fun element to it as well.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I won't take up all the time because I've been here for 7 years now at this point. So I'll let you get some other people in here, but had to pop on and talk about Nedley, obviously. And share that.
So glad you did, Kat. I miss seeing you
learning.
at San Diego, so it's great to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking in.
Miss ya.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Thanks, Kat. Sam.
Thanks for the warning.
Sam. There's no warning. You're just
no warning. I'm sorry. There's no countdown or anything. You know, you got to be on.
I'm glad I made this because I left work and was driving home, and I hate texting and driving, but I was at a red light and I pulled up YouTube real quick and had it connected into my car. as I was driving home. Hence why I have so many. I haven't showered yet. I was like, I'm hopping in on this. But hi, how are you guys?
So how are you? What did you think?
I'm good. I'm happy. I'm very happy.
What were your highs? What were your lows?
Well, okay, I kind of like the fact that Tubi was, since it's streaming, it dropped at all at one time, the 3 a.m. East Coast, midnight West Coast. Because when I got done work at 1 o'clock yesterday, so I came home and watched it because I had work last night and I couldn't start at 9 o'clock. I wasn't home. So I watched it first, just on my couch. Me, myself, and I had muted my phone so no one could bother me. And I enjoyed it. And then one of my friends had already watched it. I do have it on my TV right now. Excuse me. I also have a little congestion. But it was nice just to watch it myself. No distractions. I can enjoy it. I laughed. I cried. I was shocked. I was making audible comments verbally at the TV, yelling at Emily, but also thanking Emily. And then once I got done work, I just opened up my Twitter as I was walking back to my car, and it was right at 9 o'clock, so everything was going. And knowing everything that already happened was kind of nice. So when I got home, I turned Tubi on and just fast forwarded the 45 minutes that I'd already missed and jumped right in on Twitter. And I think you said it earlier, we had to prepare ourselves, and I was not prepared again for a live tweet. But having already watched it and having know what was coming was kind of nice for myself. I was mentally and physically and emotionally prepared, but it still wasn't enough. But it just made me happy to have Earp again.
Yep, that's got to be the overarching part for whatever we might not like in the content.
I'm at the part, the bar scene of Mercedes Wake. That's why I got distracted. Just to have it back. And I was talking to my brother last night, because he also works at the stadium, and we were at our cars. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go home and watch it. He's like, I thought you already did. I was like, well, I did, but a lot of people haven't because we all tweet. And he's like, how does that work? And I'm like, well, we all have to hit play at the same time, and then we all go on Twitter, and it's like you're watching it with 200, 2,000, 2 million people at one time. And granted, you're not interrupting each other by talking, but you're tweeting. And he's like, that sounds fun and cool. Like, it is, and it's very stressful. If any of you out there, this was your first time live tweeting and you were stressed, it's okay.
It's okay. It takes a long time to feel anywhere close to comfortable with it. You're just it's a freight train going 100 miles an hour, and you're holding on by 2 fingers.
Yeah. And this also just makes me excited for Earptopia in a couple of weeks. Whatever the new panels are going to be, all the new photo op opportunities. If anyone knows how to get Danny Kind there, please get Danny Kind there. And the new villain, Karen Knox, get her there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean,
sorry, I thought I have something on my screen. I thought I had a bug on my wall. But no, it was literally on my screen.
Live tweeting with just a weekly show was hard, right?
It was so hard.
But with this, like, not having, and you kind of have an idea what's going to happen because, like, maybe we're picking up where we left off from the week before. But this, we had no idea what we were getting into. But so yeah, I'm I don't know how people live tweeted because I could barely keep up just with what was even happening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you cut out on me, and I thought my AirPods died.
Nope, we're still here.
No, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm good. I forget what I was going to say now, but the live tweeting, it's too stressful. It's so stressful. But it felt cathartic. Everyone back on Twitter again and interacting, and the cast being there, and I'm glad we got it back. And
yeah, it's like you not only miss the show and the story, but you miss that energy and that camaraderie between just like, you can pop on Twitter every now and then and say, hey, whatever, but the quipping back and forth over a scene, seeing how much you can like eviscerate somebody else by just dropping an emotional picture and just waiting for them to be like, oh, what are you doing to me?
All the new quotes now and Tim's monologues. Tim's monologues always get me. However, Emily just writes. She writes some good shit. She just writes some good.
No, and as I said earlier too, for those of you that this was your first live tweet, trust me, not having commercial breaks, like we did when it aired on TV. I mean, at least then you could get a 3 to 6 minute breather or whatever, and with the stream you can't. So it's even harder. It's even harder on the stream.
It was funny this morning. Me, Rach, and JC all hopped on Zoom because our other friend Chloe from the UK hadn't seen it yet because she's 6 hours ahead and she wasn't staying up last night. And I don't think she had the ability to watch it. So I streamed it from my laptop and we shared our screen. So the three of us are sitting here. We know what's happening. We're half watching the show, but also watching for her reactions. And that was very entertaining, at least from my point of view. And she was distraught, as we all were, but we all agreed that we were just happy again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you jumping on, Sam.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. It's so good to see you, and I'm so glad we had. Congratulations on your new job.
Oh, thank you, and you know, Sam, again, I can't thank you enough. Reaching out a couple months ago to check in on me and see how I was doing.
Of course.
So
all right,
appreciate
and
it.
I'll see you in Calgary.
Yeah, see you in a couple weeks.
All right, bye.
All right. Have a good night. All right, let's see. The fun continues.
We got people in there still?
We got people there.
Oh, look at you from your bed. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Laura?
Hello?
They've been in and out of the backstage area, so might be having some tech issues.
Laura. Oh, I don't think she knows she's there.
No.
Okay.
All right, let me go to
out, Laura.
Oh, can you hear us, Laura? I'll leave her here in the back. Maybe she'll reconnect. We'll try again. Sorry about that, Laura.
So girls, running it.
Oh,
I had to put it on mute.
Paige is paying attention.
Yeah, Paige is on the case.
I don't know how to follow after Emily Andress. I feel like I'm an opening act for the Era Store, and like I have to go on before Taylor Swift. I don't know how to follow after that. But
no pressure.
I will try my very best to try and follow after. Try and follow in the Queen's shoes after this.
That's okay. That's why we have fun.
I don't.
Zero expectations. So you've watched. What do you think, Paige?
Oh God, my first time I watched it, I got up to use the bathroom, and not TMI. I know, I'm sorry, but I went to bed at midnight because I thought, okay, well, maybe it'll come out at midnight. So I'm like, well, I didn't get the email, so I'm going to bed. So I got up at 6:30, and I'm like, I'm gonna check Tubi just in case. Maybe it dropped at 3 a.m. our time. And I go on there, and the first thing I see is Vengeance. I'm like, well, I'm not going back to sleep now. So I was able to, and I had to be. So I watched it with my headphones in. And sorry, my mouth was dry, and I had to be quiet because I had people sleeping downstairs. So I watched it with my headphones in. I shrieked a few. I cried. I yelled at this. I silently screamed at the screen a few times. Mostly cried. Because I'm like, damn, we're actually back. Okay. Lots of crying. So there was lots of crying.
Do you have a favorite part?
The maybe not like the part that gets me the most emotional, and I will cry every single time. I was telling Kevin this earlier. When Waverly leaves, I cry every single time. I don't care. I'm like, I don't care how many times I've seen this. I will cry every single time, and I do. So I'm like, great. Good thing I still have tissues. Good. It's good for me.
Yeah, it was again, it's like I trust that Way Hot has a strong enough relationship. But also, like, you know, you could see that there was that tension that like they were Way Hot, but they were like Way Hot with a little bit of a strain on them, right? And obviously it's because, you know, Waverly has other things she wants to do, and Nicole's just busy keeping everybody safe in the town and the town running. But it's so it was like super emotional just because it's like, yeah, there's going to be a separation, but also just that like a happy sad too, where it's like she's finally gonna, you know, when she was so excited, where she's like, I have a passport. Like, that was so cute. It's like we've all been there. We've all felt that.
Like they're gonna miss each other. Don't get me wrong, but like they're gonna occupy themselves. You know, Nicole has a new deputy now that she has, which by the way she will probably regret the first day after Wynonna Earp. She'll probably regret that decision very very shortly. But you know Waverly's doing her thing in Egypt. Nicole has the town on lockdown. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. We got through 18 months. We'll be fine.
We can do it again.
I know we can do it. I just didn't want to.
And then before that, you had Doc dying. So it's like it's a double whammy. I'm like, I can't. The last 7 minutes, I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this crap. I can't do it again because I already know it's coming. But I'm like, the last 7 minutes, I'm like, it's like a 1-2 punch. I can't.
It's the clock running down for me. Like if it's worse than in the show, because in the show, unless it's the 12th episode, you know you're going to get something else. But for me, it was that the clock, we are running out of, there's no more time left on the play clock and the shot clock.
Like,
and,
at least,
and we don't know what's after this, or if it's coming again ever, or if it'll be another 2 years.
Like,
I'm getting too old for this shit to wait for 2 more years.
Like at least like when Mercedes died in the beginning, we had time to like comprehend it. We had like time to like process all that. But within the final 7 minutes, it's like a 1-2 punch. It's just like, so you better buckle up now because these last 7 minutes are brutal for you. So have fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she
it's like she wrote that in the script thinking. It's like she wrote that in the script thinking like, you know, I'm like, she probably wrote that in the script, like writing it when she was writing it. She probably like had like an evil laugh. Like,
for sure.
She's like, this is gonna kill them.
Yeah,
and it did. So business as usual for her.
Oh, sure. She came on here all like, oh, you hope you're not mad, but you know she was writing that. She came
on here like no. She came on here like so like nonchalant. She's like, anything exciting happened last night? You guys okay? I was like, no, we're not. Not
right.
And she knows it.
Drinking from her cup of Earper tears.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to pop on, Paige. It's great seeing you. I'm always here for the hangout.
Thank you, guys.
Go back to your rewatches. Bye.
Bye.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Enjoy. All right. Let's see if we can give Laura another try.
All right.
Hi.
Hey.
Pay attention.
No, I was. Listen, I'm in a hotel, shoddy Wi-Fi. I've been on my tablet. It wasn't great. So then I had to take the movie off of that I had playing on my phone I was doing my due diligence. So now I had to switch playing the movie on my tablet and I put the StreamYard on my phone. So
Well, just
You got it to
just
work.
wait, because now it's stuck on YouTube forever. You're just sitting there, and we're talking to you, and you're not even frozen. You're just like, we're like, Laura, pay attention. Hello. So what do you think?
What you got to say, Laura? You got to have thoughts.
So yeah, so I was hoping that it would drop at midnight, and when it didn't, I was like, okay. And then I put 2 and 2 together, and I was like, maybe it's dropping midnight Pacific time. So I waited until 3 a.m. and I checked like right at 3 a.m. and it still didn't drop. I think it dropped at like 3:07 or something. So then I was like, well, I'm in it now. So I watched it, and then at the end, I just like put a random tweet out, with no context, nothing. And a friend texted me and is just like, I have to debrief. And they're like, but I can't type. We have to talk on the phone. So I was like, okay. So we spent another hour on the phone kind of talking it through, and we kind of said our piece. I actually, the first viewing, I should say, I was actually, my eyes were peeled for all those Easter eggs that Emily said she was going to drop, and they were just coming like wildfire. It was small things, the 69 on the car rooftop. Yeah. Even like towards the end there before the shootout, Nicole says to Wynonna, all right, let's stop with the Hallmark moments. And if you know, like, Cat has become a Hallmark movie, staple. So that was just like, that was another, and also they pulled in things from, the other projects that they work on. And I'd be curious to know, now that we know that obviously Emily's daughter had a part, Chrissy Nedley brought her own baby. I wonder, like, who else they might have, from like maybe the crew that was with them for 6 years and things like that. Who else they might have like dropped in, especially with Nicole's walk through the town there, and she was like, hey, so and so, hey, so and so. I wonder if those were certain people that she was name dropping as like a hi and a thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I do have some of you might or might not know, I got my sister into this, and then we were actually together. I brought her to Earp Division Expo this past spring, this past May, and so she got to meet a few people. She got to meet Emily. She had some choice things to say in a meet and greet with Emily. I won't go into those details. But she's had a very strong opinion that Nicole needs to be evil in some way, shape, or form. And so one of her first questions to me when I told her that the special had dropped, she's like, did they make Nicole evil? And I was like, no, she didn't. And then she sent me a list of her predictions before she sat down and watched. And one of them was Waverly turned evil. And I was like, okay. And then she said, another one she said was that Nedley gets hurt or dies. Another one was, well, I can't remember the other ones, but like she basically had the one correct. Nedley did get hurt. And then she gave me, I think, five predictions, and like 3 other ones were in a roundabout way kind of spot on. And then she sent me, after she finished, she was like, I wasn't psyched about the ending. That's a direct quote. I was like, well, not many people would be. So I just found that funny. But there was I'm surprised she even watched it this soon.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought I would have had to be telling her about it. You got to watch the special. You got to watch the special. You got to watch the special. But no, she tucked in right away. Listen, Jeremy is on the case. Jeremy is on the case. Jeremy's on the case. He brought Nicole back to life. She was dead. He brought her back to life.
How's he going to fix Doc if Doc is in the grave? Wouldn't he need the body?
who's to say he won't get it?
Nobody, no crime, man.
I know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he can't be dead. I mean, this is science fiction, so
Anything's possible.
should be possible.
That's right.
But yeah, other than that, I thought it was it was really good. It was great to have the characters back. It was great to tweet again. I was actually in the airport last night. My flight was set to leave at 9, and it got delayed an hour and change. So I was like, "Oh my God, is this is this the
And there goes the hotel Wi-Fi. Right mid-sentence, Laura. Right mid-sentence. You can't win.
Too much.
You can't win.
All right.
All
Laura.
right.
Oh well.
Oh. Come back, Laura.
The internet has other ideas.
Damn it! All right, I think that's my cue. But I was just saying.
So.
I was just saying I had a fun time kind of sending out fake tweets, no non-spoiler fake tweets yesterday, just like the most batshit crazy things that I could come up with. But anyway, all right, I'll see you all some other time, and hopefully we can Earp when the Audible drops.
Isn't
it? That'll be fun.
Have to work towards that.
All right, take care, everybody.
Take care, Laura.
Bye.
Bye.
No, we can. No,
Yeah, you kick me out, or I leave.
I got you.
Oh, here it is.
Always the joy. Technical challenges. Another familiar face. Hello.
Hello. How are you all?
Good. How are you doing today?
I just want to say that I think we're missing the big picture here.
Okay.
Which is that Tim Rozon actually kept a secret.
Good point.
I thought that was pretty big. So I'm doing okay. There was a lot of crying yesterday. I don't know what that was about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like I told you, I still can't watch it without getting emotional. Several points. Several, not just one. Several.
And plus, when he fell off the train and she said, "I thought I lost you," and he said, "Not today."
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't you think we're in the clear?
Good
Lord.
I don't know. So, I thought like we already had one death, and you're obviously going to ship off, one half away hot. Like, surely that's enough emotional damage.
That was enough trauma. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess Emily had different ideas. She was like,
God.
"No, I'll tell you when it hurts enough," is what she said, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of theories, one of which is we don't know that there's a body in the grave.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know that. And I think it's my friend Brandy from Tampa who came up with nobody's grieving enough.
No.
Right? Like Wynonna's not lost enough. So I think there's some shenanigans.
Because I feel like, yes, we were on a time budget, right? So like other times we had more time to see the woo-woo sad. But also it did seem weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't trust it.
Yeah. Like, Doc's gone. Who saw that coming?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, good to see you, Jer.
Yep.
It's a little weird. But then how do you bring him back? I figure he's got to not be dead. Because you can't bring him back like Buffy. And that
it's Emily, so I would not rule anything out.
Zombie Doc.
I don't know.
I suggested earlier in the chat he'll come back as a ghost, and then we'll have the crossover episode with Surreal Estate.
Hey, if that helps to make it happen, I'll go with anything.
And then she was like, "Let me save you," and he's like, "Well, you already did." But I'm like, what does she mean? Like, so maybe And why can't
Yeah.
Waverly's tears still do things? Like, there's got to be something.
There's got to be. Yeah, she's so powerful.
Wynonna always finds a way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They always find a way. They and I just feel like, first of all, we all want Bobo back too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited about the Audible with that Danny's going to be in the Audible, but I would like to, I was all about, she's a vampire, just put her back together. And apparently that's not a go.
Yeah, I feel like for a while I was like, I'm sure she'll be fine. But then when that Earp was spelled out in the snow, it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's gonna leave a mark. Like, that's gonna be hard to come back from.
Yeah, and she's been in the cold too long. So now there's freezer
But maybe it
burn.
preserves her body and she comes back all sewed back together like Frank and Danny. They just sew her back up. Yeah.
At the very least, fanfic. At the very least, fanfic. Frank and Danny.
Always.
Frank and Danny.
She put that face back together. She could do it with arms too.
Yeah. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be fun. This is what I feel like after hearing Emily talk. I think things are going to be fine. Like, there's so many irons in the fire. Like her telling us that Audible wanted to do a season 5, like a whole season 5.
I feel like Audible is a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
Doing big moves right now. And the fact that Audible is like the ad that also plays, it's the ad that I get anyway. I'm assuming everyone's getting the same ad.
Yeah, they sponsored it, so we didn't get it. Yep.
Yeah, it's all like, I don't know. I feel like that's a big deal.
It's all big deal stuff, I think. Like her telling her that Adam was pitching her ideas. I think, you don't want to jinx it. Here's some wood to knock on. I'm at a hotel too, but I think there's a future.
We're all going to stay. Come on, we're Earpers. We're all going to stay positive.
I can't sleep tonight unless Doc is in that future. It's too stressful.
Definitely in some.
I think he definitely is. Yes.
Alternate reality. Yeah.
My first thought was, why didn't he warn us? That's my first thought. I apparently don't understand the shock value, but
it's a big upset, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I think we're going to be okay, people. Doc Stash, we're going to be okay.
Oh, all of their comments have been yes. What Doc Death? I don't know what you're talking about. Yep.
Denial is a wonderful thing.
He's sleeping. We sent him to a farm where he can run free.
Yeah, he's at the big farm upstate.
Anyway, I'm sure people are waiting in line, but
well, it's great to have you pop on, though, Suzanne.
Yeah, it was really nice. It's nice to be Earping again. It's nice to be Earping again.
Isn't that just big part of it? Just gives me a smile.
I just love it. I had a Zoom call with people from all over the world who couldn't get it any other way, and we streamed it. And it was just so nice to Earp again. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah. So everyone have a great night.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Have a good rewatch, everyone.
Yeah, rewatches.
Yes. All right, goodbye.
Why isn't the camera working?
Yeah, I was going to say. I was going to wait to see if we had audio because we don't have any.
Where the hell?
Video.
Sorry.
You're just a gear.
It says stop cam, so there must be a cam.
Oh, you might
I need you, Tone.
Everybody pretend you can see Nancy.
Hi, it's still me. I want to see Frank and Danny now. I was thinking werewolf with mustache. See, it's got a nice rhythm. There's already a preset musical background.
There you go.
Plus, I have no idea why my camera doesn't work now. It's a new computer since before.
Well, if there's a stop cam button, you might try it to stop and then start.
I hit stop and then see what the heck. And
well, maybe you needed to set something up ahead of time.
Well, I tried. That said, I also realized that I think Emily takes it as a total challenge. Bring on the feels is not just instructional for her.
Yep.
It's ambition, like, you know, inspirational for her.
Mm-hmm.
But does anybody else kind of enjoy how some of the villains are a little... I'm sorry, anyone and their mother could cosplay those hellhounds, and I loved that fact. And I thought, I need 30 other Earpers to put sheets on for Halloween and run around flapping our arms going, ooh. Because it was better that they didn't like spend on my beautiful cast and all those beautiful new people and the scenery, which is just so incredible for this show. And I will completely accept sheets with pieces of sheet sewn on that I want to make for a con. But
I've got a few. If I do cosplay, I've got a few ideas. I just don't know if I'm going to do it or not. But yeah, it definitely served up enough ideas.
That is not how I used to watch shows, but now it's like the third idea. Anyway, it's probably better that you can't see my face, but I'm a little distracted by the fact that it's not working.
Any other thoughts you need to process about the show?
So many, but I don't need to keep interjecting. Those are my main takeaways. And I'm convinced, werewolf with mustache. Just, I can't not believe it. Just trust Emily too much.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, Cat Zim wants to know what your favorite part was.
Wow, there's so many too. How does anyone pick just one moment from an Earp show?
Well, and we don't say it doesn't have to be the top. Just
I like
one.
I like when the chat back and forth with Way Hot in the top of the is it a silo? It's not really a silo. The tall, like prairie-esque building.
Oh yeah, like the grain building.
The grain building, and of course it being a flashback, but also you don't have to watch the old scene to enjoy that scene. So I liked that for its like duality. I honestly liked the scene of Doc taking them all out and the shots, plus the Earper that did the screenshot of them having Doc's back for that scene, which was great. I think I'm probably fonder of Waverly leaving than you are, Anne, which is not a high bar, but I love that for her. I love that, and I'm not worried about their relationship. So I felt pretty good about that, actually, even though I know that's really not your feeling. That's okay. I respect that. But her little bowler tie and the little...
I know. I know, and I get it, because like I would never be the person to keep someone, back. You got to do what you got to do. And she's not like getting a divorce. She's not leaving. But yeah, just it hurt.
Yeah. See, I just felt excited for her. And when you go through the show, when you're thinking of your favorite scene, like how can you move past? I didn't get a chance to cheat yet after that beautiful scene with her coming in the dress. Like, I'm sorry, I wouldn't have been thinking about her face. But okay, a little. And the fact that they kept saying it's a show about hair, it's all about the hair, and well, damn, it was a bit about the hair.
It's about all of it. That's what we love. So many different bits for us to like.
Yeah. All right. Well,
all right. Well, thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, great to hear your voice. Thank
Bye.
you.
Take care, Nancy.
I love all the different perspectives. Hello.
Oh, shit. Hi.
Yeah.
This happens quickly.
When it does, yes.
Also, I love that the three people back to back are all the Camp Earpers. I mean, we might have just, well, we don't all live together, but like we don't live in the same state. But
no, it's a wonderful thing. I love it.
Yeah, no, yeah. So this was fun. As I've mentioned in the chat, I watched this last night at 3 in the morning. No, actually, I started at 1:30 because I was playing board games, and I was like, I'm just gonna sign up for Tubi. I'm just gonna I won't even watch 3 in the morning. So then had to obviously debrief with other Earpers. I don't know if I have a favorite moment. I think I liked how much we just blown open the world. There are so many possibilities.
Yeah,
Right?
they set up so many separate storylines, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, we have so much possibilities now. And of course I love the Easter eggs. As I've mentioned in the chat, I can now wear this hat, which is the IDW Kickstarter prop that they mailed to us claiming it was in season 4, which was not true. And I have confirmation. But now it exists in Vengeance, so that's good. Love the truck, obviously. I also like that people like Nicole now in town, right? Like, we go from kicking chickens to, hey, no, like small town Earp town. So yeah, no, it was great. No, I don't believe Doc is dead. I mean, they brought in Buffy back. They killed off Xena 3 or 4 times, right? Like, no one ever stays dead. So I'm not really worried. I do kind of like the Wynonna Ghost Doc storyline. I am there where Wynonna is the only one who can see Doc. So I think that part is good. Yeah, no, if Emily ever needs battle axes, I happen to own 3 of them from the show, I think. I've lost track.
Oh wow. All right.
Yeah, well, I also got my own personal one signed, which is why there's a weapons policy at conventions now. So, it's all good. Was happy to get the murder axe from season 4. So, cool. No, this is great. So we're doing you're going to keep doing these hangouts, right? Like, we're not just going to do this one-off, right? You're going to bring the podcast back because I need something to listen to.
Oh yeah, there's conversations going on where we're going from here. That's the great part with the Audible stuff and the importance of keeping the viewing numbers up and the chances of more. That's part of all kinds of conversations. So yes, and it's definitely. I was telling Anne actually, for the sake of everyone who's listening at this point, that this week when I put out a couple of tweets about doing the Hangout. I got more likes and interactions on those tweets than I did some that were sharing stuff about the movie. So, I mean, it was very obvious that folks were missing the Hangouts and so forth. So,
I missed the podcast. That used to be my drive when I worked at a winery. I had a 40-minute drive to work. That was my podcast of the ride kind of thing.
Yep, that's part of what looking at that as well. Yes.
I will say one more thing. The fact that, there was a call out to Go Blue Devils, which is the hilarious part about the show is, and I don't have a confirmation. So the Blue Devils logo is in Carolina blue, and the Duke Blue Devils are the biggest rivals with UNC Chapel Hill, who are light blue, and Duke is dark blue, and that's one of the biggest sports rivalries. We can have this discussion at some kind of And so the fact that they just mesh the two together, I don't think they watch college basketball sports. I don't think they understand US sports. That's fine, but it's hilarious. Since the last 4 months, I actually now go back. I now work for Duke, so Go Blue Devils is it's great. It's my alma mater.
Nice.
Cool. Well, I'll let someone else pontificate because I can keep talking, but that's fine.
Okay. Well, no, we appreciate you
nice
coming
seeing
on.
you.
Yeah, it's good to see you. I don't think I can see people at Earptopia. If anyone wants to buy a ticket, I'm selling mine because schedule, a new job, all that. But,
okay.
Alrighty, I will hop back in chat.
All right. Thanks very much for coming on. Yeah.
All right. How many more people we got there?
We have at this point. Yep. One last person, I think, and we'll wrap it up.
Howdy.
Jen, you get to close us out. Look at that. Primo spot.
Howdy, neighbor. How are you guys
Jen and I
doing?
never see each other, and we live 20 minutes away from each other. And we just text each other like, did you feel that earthquake? Is the wildfire by you? And then we just see each other at conventions.
Yeah. Is it hot and you're about to die when you go outside?
Yeah. How hot are you?
Good times. So I don't know. I have missed a bit of the live because I had a migraine earlier, so I'm not really sure everything you guys have covered. But
that's
wow,
okay.
Yeah, yesterday.
Wow, that covers it very
well.
That
covers it. Yeah. So many emotions. Jesus. I watched it right when it dropped at like, I don't know, what was it, 12:30 or something, our time, and I think I was way too still in seasons 1 through 4 because I had finished my rewatch maybe a couple hours before. And so I think a lot of my expectations were just driven by like what I had just seen. Plus I was super emotional from all the crying that I had already done from, those few episodes, the finale and Jolene and all that stuff. So when I initially was watching Vengeance for the first time, I was like, there was a lot of parts where I was very annoyed and like didn't like the decisions that were made. Because I think I was expecting too much of exactly seasons 1 through 4. But there was also a lot of stuff I loved, and I was telling some of my friends, like, overall, I think I loved it, but there was just decisions that I didn't agree with. And I was also just super emotional. I was like yelling at my TV at 2 a.m. I'm sorry, fam, because I was not quiet, and I was bawling, and like I remember finishing it and being like, no, I fucking hated that. Not the special as a whole, just like, Doc dying, and I was very upset and like very.
Wait a minute, Doc died? I don't.
Did he?
Not in my episode.
It's been a rumor. It's been a rumor.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He might not be dead. Yeah. So I was just like very, very emotional. It was really hard to get back to sleep because I had so many things going on in my brain. I couldn't stop crying, and yeah. So I finally fell asleep, and I was not like in the euphoric state that I was expecting to be. So that made me kind of bummed out. But then I calmed down, let my emotions like simmer down and, settle a little bit. And I did a rewatch, and I liked it a lot more the second time. I thought it was like, I felt that euphoria a lot more the second time. And then I started reading like the postmortems and the articles and the interviews and stuff like that. And like a lot of the decisions that I initially was like really hesitant about or didn't agree with made a lot more sense because of, stuff that the cast had said in their interviews or Emily had said. And so that really helped as well. And then going into the live tweet was what really just like brought that full on joy, like that Earp, all of us together, the camaraderie and the love and the community and just all of it felt like home. Like, that's what we always say, Earp, it's his home. But doing that live tweet was just like, that's what I needed. That's what I needed more than anything was all of us coming together and like with the cast and having cast members that haven't tweeted in several years coming on and joining and being part of it and seeing how excited they were about certain things that I was initially like, I don't know about that. Definitely like helped change how I felt about a lot of it. And also during the live, my phone overheated and I got my account suspended. So, you know what? It was a great night.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
The days of having your Twitter account suspended or put on, what do they call it when they used to limit it or something? Yeah. That's when you knew you were maximum Earping.
It's like probably 3/4 of the way through the live and I get the notification like your account's been locked. And I was like,
you can't possibly be a human putting all these tweets out.
Yeah. Luckily, I was able to get back in pretty quickly, shockingly, and finish out. But yeah, it was just like such a good night. And I've been obviously like every room I walk into, it's on a TV or an iPad or something. So it's, I've been watching it kind of nonstop. And it's like every time I watch it again and again, I'm just like, oh yes, I love this. But like, obviously I'm still very heartbroken over, Doc and Mercedes. I wasn't really surprised by Mercedes, to be honest. Like, that was a character that I had called like when we were talking to some of our friends of like, who do you think's gonna die? I was like, I think it's Mercedes. I had a feeling. So that one didn't really surprise me, but Doc, whew. I know why they did it. I don't like it. I don't know. That one's still Emily. I come for you.
Well, I'm not sure if you saw when Emily was on, but she talked about how Tim was the one coming up with that idea.
Yeah, I read the article a few days ago, or whenever that came out. I think it was like a couple days ago, maybe yesterday, where Tim had said like, "Oh no, that was my storyline that I pitched." And I was like, "Oh, so it's you we have to blame." Got it. Yeah. So I mean, there's still certain things in the special that I'm like, I don't know, but like I think that's expected, and the line I keep going back to is when Nicole says it feels less like a reunion and more like a reboot. And I feel like had I gone into it expecting that rather than like exactly what we had, I maybe would have had a different experience in the first viewing. So now that I, kind of have that mindset, I can't expect these characters to be the same as they were 3 years ago when we left them, because I've changed so much in 3 years. So to expect them to not change at all seems unrealistic. So I think, some of the changes make a lot of sense, and I can understand them a lot better now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Change is hard.
Very hard. Yeah.
But yeah, we're in good hands.
I just got back and watched like the bit that Emily was on, and yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what comes next. Excited for the Audible series. Definitely gonna be playing it on 8 trillion devices. Vengeance. And hopefully my spouse doesn't kill me, because every TV is being occupied and every iPad is being occupied. Sorry.
That will be a balance for a while for several of us. Yes.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's what we do.
We do. All right, guys. Well, I'll let you guys go because I know you've been on for a while, but it was great joining and discussing.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Thank you.
You too.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping in.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Jen.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
You too.
Whew, how do we wrap this up?
Oh, I think we wrap it up by saying, from what we've heard, both from Emily and all the fans, is that, we've got a good shot at getting more. And, folks are very hungry for more hangouts and podcasts and other things from fandom. So we're looking forward to a lot of that too. And because of how special this is, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been in the chat, who came on video, to Anne for co-hosting with me. Brings me so much joy, really.
It's a blast. I'm glad we got to do it again.
9+ years in, man, and it's still so special. So thank you. Really, just thank you to everybody.
Yeah, thanks for stopping in. I know it was a long time. I know we stretched it out in the beginning, but we were waiting for.
We had reasons, good reasons to kind of stretch it there.
And again, thanks for Emily for bringing us the show back. Thank you to Tubi. And yeah, we keep Earping.
We keep Earping, and yeah, like Emily said, and like we've been saying, in case you came in late, just keep playing it on devices. The next few days, I think folks are very critical from the TV world. This is the kind of stuff they look at. So keep it streaming if you can. Certainly social media activity is good, but those streams are what the financial folks have to look at. So let's help them out.
Yeah, and we ride this shot of adrenaline for as long as we can.
Mm-hmm. This is Earping. This
Hopefully
is what it is.
We don't have to stretch it too long, but we know sometimes it's a long time.
We do what we can, right? That's what it is. So,
thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kevin. So good to see your face.
All. Yes, great to see you too, and all of you folks. So thank you very much. And we hopefully will be seeing you in the not too distant future again. Take care, gang.
Bye.
Bye.